Hello everyone, this is Nick, and welcome to Easy Peasy Cooking. Doing something a little different today. I'm talking. You don't hear me talk very much, and for a couple of reasons. I have a lot of noise that goes on in this house, and it can get distracting. And sometimes it takes me a long time to say something simple. I tend to ramble. So doing it this way, I think I can keep myself in check. So we're making a brown gravy today. Something that's great on mashed potatoes or a Salisbury or Salisbury. How do you say it? Salisbury or Salisbury? I don't know. But anyway, whichever way you say it, it's good on this. So we're going to give it a shot. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prep the garlic, onions, and I debated. I thought I'm going to use fresh mushrooms in this, but guess what I forgot at the store? So when I went to the pantry, I noticed I had a can of mushrooms, and I'm like, well, let's try it. Let's see how it turns out. I might regret this, because I would prefer the fresh mushrooms. I love to saute mushrooms. And anyway, here's a can of them. So we're going to try. We're going to see how it turns out. So we want to drain the mushrooms really well. We really don't want any liquid. When we cook these, we're going to try to cook the water out of them as much as we can. So we want to saute the onions and garlic first, and we're not going to get them too translucent before we add the mushrooms. And I forgot to tell you how much garlic and onion I used. That is a small onion. That is a Vidalia, but of course a yellow or a white onion would be just as good, or even a red onion. But we're sauteing a small one. Wasn't that big. I would say it's about a cup or 3/4 of a cup of an onion. And then the garlic, I used 3 cloves, and I just chopped it up finely. I didn't use a garlic press. I just gave it a good chop, and away we go. And we're using a Better Than Bouillon roast beef flavor, and it's pretty salty, so if you use this, do not add salt. You won't need it. And this gives it a really good flavor. And it really doesn't take much. I mean, I used not quite a teaspoon, but stir it around, cook it in just a little bit, make sure it's well incorporated, and then we'll add the flour. And I forgot to tell you how much flour to add. I used about a half a cup. And you want to cook it, get the flour taste out of it. And once it's browned a little bit, then we're going to add in our beef broth. And you notice I adjust the heat a lot. You don't want things to get too hot, and sometimes you need to make those adjustments. But if you feel like that it's burning or getting too hot too quickly, the best thing to do is just lift it off of the eye, remove it, and it'll cool down quicker than just turning the temperature down. Now this part's totally optional. I love the taste of Worcestershire, and that's what we're going to use. But the Better Than Bouillon's good enough. You don't really need to add too much more flavor than that, but I like the kick that the Worcestershire gives, so there we go. Alright, so we're going to add in our beef broth now. I'm going to use probably a half a container here. So again, no measurement. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. But the thing is if it's too thick, then add more. But you don't want to add too much. You can go overboard, okay? So just remember, you can always add in, but you can't take it back out. Just add it as you need it, okay? If it's too thick, add a little more. At this point, there's not really a whole lot to say. We're just waiting for it to thicken up and add a little bit more liquid as we need it. So I'm going to fast forward now till the end part. Really, there wasn't anything else to watch except for it to slowly thicken, which it already kind of has anyway. So I like black pepper, so I'm going to add some. And it's not one of those things you have to do. It's cooking. You add what you like to your recipe. I add what I like to mine, and that's what makes us all different. If we all like the same thing, then it'd be a boring place, Well, that's about it on this gravy. It will thicken as it sits, so we're going to go ahead and pour it up in a bowl. I'm going to clean up my saucepan, and I want to show you one more way you can do some gravy. So the next gravy is just a simple brown gravy. I'm actually cooking Salisbury steak, and that's going to be for another video. I figured explaining the gravy would take long enough without including something else. So we'll do the Salisbury steak later, and I'll show you how I made it. But this gravy is very simple. It's basically the same way we did the other one, but we're leaving out the garlic, onion, and mushroom. So once the steaks get fried really good, then we will remove them, and we will start preparing the gravy. So all that's left in the pan now is the olive oil and the grease remnants from the steak. And we're going to add in about a half a cup of flour. And we're going to cook it until the flour taste has been cooked out of it. Now it will turn to a paste. So this is where I used to panic when it came to making gravy. Is I would have this thickness, and when I would add liquid, it would be like chunks. And you're just going to have to stir it until the chunks are worked out and smooth. So it is a process, but don't give up. Gravy is one of those things. It just takes a little time, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Alright, again, we're going to add better than bouillon, about a teaspoon. Work that in. Adding in some Worcestershire sauce. No measurement, just to my liking. Now, after adding in the sauce, you can see that it all has just come together in one clump. So this is where I recommend don't panic. Just start adding your liquid and start working out those clumps and chunks. Now you're going to add in about a half a container of broth, beef broth. Again, don't add too much at one time. Add what you think you need, which should be less than needed, and add as you need. As it gets too thick, you can add more. Just keep stirring till it thins out. It may take just a minute, but just work on it. Just keep stirring. Now you can see it starting to thicken up, so we're going to need to add more liquid, some more beef broth. And if you feel like that the beef broth is too salty, you can always cut it with water. So at this point, if you think it's salty enough, then instead of adding beef broth, then just add water, a little bit at a time. Again, don't forget that gravy will thicken as it sits. So, as it's hot, it still appears a little thin. Just keep in mind, it will thicken up. Add in a little pepper, and then we'll add our steaks back to it. There it is. It's great on mashed potatoes, and it's a good gravy. Well, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you didn't mind me switching it up a little bit, having me talk. I'm going to let Pepper close it out because I know some people do enjoy listening to my little sidekick, so I'm going to let her close it out. But I want to tell you personally that Jesus loves you, and no matter what you've been through in life or where you are, He will always be there for you. So I love you, and Jesus loves you too. Okay, Pepper, take it away.
Thank you all for watching, and until next time, remember that Jesus loves you. If you like our videos, then please consider subscribing to our channel. Giving us a thumbs up is also appreciated. See y'all later.